What's going on, guys? In this video, I'm going to talk about how to stop losing money with e-commerce. Now, this is one of the biggest problems that people are going to run into is just losing money. So I want to show you how not to do it, okay? Now, before we get started, as always, I'm going to demand that you not only smash the like button, but you also subscribe if you haven't. Some really cool resources in the description as well. Make sure to check those out after you finish watching this video. So let's go ahead and jump into my computer now and get started. So what I want to talk about is how to stop losing money in e-commerce. You see a lot of people go absolutely broke trying to make this business work. So I want to give you my best advice after losing a lot of money over the last few years and then eventually learning how to not do that and can be more profitable consistently. I want to show you everything that I do now that I wish I had told myself 3 years ago when I first got into e-commerce and dropshipping, right? So it always starts with the math of when I'm doing product selection. I'm thinking in advance, can I actually, knowing Facebook's gonna charge me a certain amount roughly, if this product does work well, will I be able to still make money with it, okay? And there's a very few things that you need to focus on and understand, and if it meets one of those criteria, then the product's worth testing, because then you can make it work. If you have some trouble with it at first, which is natural for a lot of the best products I've had, some are just hot winners out the gate, right? But a lot of time you're gonna find that the product, actually, if you just work it and tweak it a little bit, which I talk about in some other videos in my free Facebook group, which you should join if you haven't already, link in the description, by the way, you're gonna find that if you start the process thinking this way, you're gonna set yourself up for a bigger win, right? Here's the absolute reality going into 2021 is that you're gonna be paying on average $20 to $30 per purchase to Facebook in ad expenses as you scale up. This is sometimes a little bit lower, sometimes a little bit higher. Like generally speaking, when you're initially testing, you're gonna see that maybe you're getting $5, $10, $15, $20 purchases, but as soon as you start to scale up, typically the higher your daily spend is, the higher the cost per purchase is. It usually, almost always, has a direct correlation together, right? So it increases together. The more you spend, the more you're gonna pay on average, right? But you're obviously making that up with a higher volume, and if you're using the strategies I talk about in this video, you're making a lot more per sale. So knowing that, where do we start, right? There's a couple types of products as far as price point and value point that you want to focus on, because if you think you're gonna make $1 million selling $15 iPhone cases that people are only gonna buy one of, you're probably never gonna make money unless you're building a brand out of this, and you're gonna make money maybe on the second or third purchase 6 to 12 months or 2 to 3 years from now. So just to give you two quick examples, right? So example number one, if you're selling a $30 dog toy, okay, maybe some kind of chew toy that has a unique feature or function, you're gonna be probably closer to the low end of this rough range, right? You're gonna be paying more like $20 cost per purchase. Maybe some days it's 15 on average, maybe some days it's 20 to 25 on average, but just know in this $20 to $30 range, the lower the single unit cost is, the cheaper it's going to be to make the purchase, but it's still going to be close to that $20 mark, or at least plan for it to be close to that 20 mark as you scale, okay? Or on the other hand, I gave you an example here that if I was selling $70, some kind of unique tool, right, for woodworking or whatever it may be, I'm going to be paying on the higher end, right? So generally, the higher the price point, the more it's going to cost you to make a sale, right? So I just got the brand new iPhone. By the way, it's just like last year's model. There's nothing special about it. And this is probably going to cost me, if I'm selling this on Facebook for some odd reason, in Facebook ads, I'm probably going to be paying, I don't know, maybe $250 a purchase, $300 a purchase, maybe $150 a purchase, because I'm probably selling this thing for at least $1,000 or close to it. So just know that your cost per purchase is going to, generally speaking, scale up the higher the price point. So with that being said, now that we know this and understand this, let's always have a goal of $30 on average as far as our margin goes, right? After we pay for the unit cost and the shipping, we need to at least have $30 available to offset our advertising cost. If you have $5 to $10 left over, even $15 to $20 left over, you're probably not going to be able to scale up to higher, bigger numbers. Maybe you could make some money on low budgets, spending $100 a day, maybe making like $2 to to $300 a day, but just know you're not gonna be able to scale big. So let's talk about the three types of products. Product type 1 is something that has a higher value, and typically this is gonna be something you can mark up for 2.5 to 3 times, right? So if I'm paying, in this example I said, if I'm buying it for $15 for every unit, or at least for the first unit, if I'm selling some type of, let's say I'm selling this shirt, right? This Under Armour shirt, I'm paying $15 per purchase, right? And I'm gonna wanna sell this for at least 2.5 to 3 times what it costs me, right? And that's gonna create that $30 margin roughly that we're looking at. So usually this is going to be for product type 1, it's a higher value item, right? So like Under Armour would be a brand. I wouldn't sell it because you'll get in trouble, but in this example, if I was the owner of Under Armour, I was selling it, I'm gonna wanna mark it up enough so I can actually make money selling it. But if I know that it's gonna cost me $15, I probably don't wanna sell it for 30 unless I know people are gonna buy like 10 of them. Then it might make sense to, but generally speaking, I wanna sell it for at least a 2.5 to 3x markup, okay? So it's gonna drop me somewhere between $40 and $50 for the sale price. Now, that's gonna get me, in this example I said, if we're selling it for 45, it costs us 15, and that leaves us 30 bucks is the margin. Product type 2 is going to be something that is cheaper per se. It's maybe cost you less, but has a good value as well. So this could be iPhone cases. If you have an iPhone case that people naturally are going to want to buy 2 to 3 of, that's the first thing you're focusing on. Something that's maybe on the lower cost, I don't want to say cheaper, but something that people will want to buy at maybe $15, $20, $25, but they're almost, not always, but more often than not, or at least a large percentage of the time, they're going to buy 2 or 3 units. Like I was selling seat covers, for example, and I was selling for 15 bucks a pop. People would buy anywhere from 3 to 10 of these, okay? So my average order value with this $15 item was actually like $70 to $80 most days. With that, I was not only getting the benefit of a lower cost product, right? So it's technically $15. So I'm going to be usually landing my cost per purchase closer to that $20 mark, but my average order value is super high, right? So it's like technically an $80 item, but I'm paying less per purchase than I would if I was selling one product that cost $80 to the consumer. These are just general rules. It doesn't always work out this way, but if you go into your product research thinking this way, you'll set yourself up for bigger wins, I can promise you, okay? A good way to look at it is typically a lower ticket, a lower price item like this is gonna cost you somewhere between $4 and $7 with your supplier to ship it and buy that first unit. And then you should get a discount. This is really key here, guys, if you wanna grow your margin with this or maintain it as you sell multiple units. Because what you wanna do, the strategy is always to give the customer a discount to buy 2 or 3 or 4, and the discount should generally increase the more they buy. So the best way to do that, unless you have a massive margin, unless you're buying things for like $1 and selling them for 20 to begin with, which you probably won't ever be doing. I don't know how you could do that actually. You want to think of it this way: you should work with your supplier to get a discount on that second, third, and fourth unit. So in this example, I say if you buy the first unit and you pay for shipping for the package and it costs you $7, you should negotiate to maybe pay $3 or $4 for every extra unit. So your cost of goods looks like this, right? If you sell 1 unit, okay, it costs you 7. If you sell 2 units, all in all, it costs you 10. If you sell 3 units, it costs you 13, right? But you're also giving your customer discounts. So maybe they're paying 15 on the first unit, then they're paying 13 on the second unit, and then they're paying 12 on average on the third unit, right? So here's an example. I know there's a lot of text on one page, but work with me here. So your cost is 7, like I said, for the first unit. Every extra one is 3. You sell it for 15. You charge 5 for shipping, so it's really $20. 10 to 20% of your customers buy 3 to 4 units. That turns that $15 product into maybe like a $45 product. So if we're selling if you average all your orders for the day, for the month, for the week of this product, if it's a good product, and you average it out, you divide the number of orders, and Shopify should do this for you, gives you your average order value. How much on average is the customer spending when you divide all your revenue by the actual number of orders, okay? Let's say that $15 product turned into a $45 average order value. $5 with shipping gives you 50 bucks. 50 bucks, you pay your $20 in ads. So remember, because you're gonna be on the lower end of the spectrum, not the the higher end because it's a cheaper item, a lower priced item, a low ticket item. Now, what you're gonna see here too is that it's gonna cost you $13 in cost of goods, right? Because you're on average selling 3 units, you're making $50 off that purchase by the customer, and it's only costing you about 13 bucks in cost of goods. That leaves you with a 17% margin. That's very good. So this can absolutely work, and this can work like hotcakes, right? So you can make more money sometimes and be more profitable with this strategy, with this approach, versus selling higher value items, which is really insane. Now let's talk about the third product. This is like the hybrid. This is the golden goose that all of us want. Well, we basically get both. We get a higher value item, right? Or higher ticket, higher priced item with high value. And then we also have that same product where people want to buy multiples, okay? This will happen. Now, think of this as the best of both worlds, right? You have a product with a big margin for every single unit, and also the high value perception and a sale price that goes with it. People tend to buy 2 to 3 units. This is an absolute must for it to fit in this category. And then you basically, for example, let's say you have a $60 product and 10 to 20% of the time people add that extra 1 to 2 units. Maybe now your average order value is 100 bucks and you're still paying maybe $30, $35. I'll show you some examples here. So higher priced value item with multiples, okay, just to continue on this, you're paying 20 bucks for the first unit with shipping, right? Just in this specific example, you pay $15 for every extra unit you sell. So if you sell 2, it's 35. If you sell 3, it's 50. And you're selling the product for $60 for every single unit. 10, 20% of your customers take you up on that discount to buy 2 or 3. Okay, that brings your average order value in this example up to 110. 110 minus your cost of goods. And also when you subtract $30 in average cost of purchase, leaves you with a $35 margin, okay? That is phenomenal. You can scale probably very aggressively with this, assuming it's a good product and people want it, and that might shrink a little bit, but if you triple your revenue and you're still making $25 or $30 per sale, you're still winning. It really is a math game when you come down to it. Like, yes, you want to look for problems that solve, or products that solve problems and are cool and trending and all that stuff. I think that's the icing on the cake. I believe if you start with this math game in mind, when you go into your product research, you're going to make better decisions. You're going to eliminate a lot of products that you're just going to be like, I could probably sell that, but can I make money with it, right? Can I be profitable selling it? If it doesn't fit into one of these frameworks, then you're probably just wasting your time and money, okay? Just think of the game as how can I get my average customer to spend as much as possible per transaction, knowing it can cost me as much as $30, assuming the product is good and people want it, in ads for every single sale. So how do we accomplish this? Very simple. Pre-purchase, right? So I use an app called Booster Quantity Breaks, or discounted price. Booster discounted pricing is actually it. You'll see it if you go to the app store and you just search Booster, right? So basically we're on the product page, it's got the box that says buy 1, 10, or buy 2, 10% off, buy 3, 15% off, buy 4, 20% off, okay? It just incentivizes the person to make a purchase with 2 to 3 units, or just at least more than 1. They also see that message dynamically update in the cart, right? So if they add 2 units on the product page and go to the cart, it'll then say buy 3, get 15% off. The second way is going to be post-purchase. After the sale is in the bag, it's completed, you're good to go, then you want to offer more of the same again, okay? Then maybe buy 1 or buy 3 more for the price of 1. You gotta just get creative with your offers. Generally speaking, start by offering more of the same product. That pretty much works every single time. I don't know why. Sometimes you would think complementary products, like if you're selling iPhones and you offer iPhone case, you think that people would probably want the iPhone case 10 to 20% of the time, but usually it's like 3 to 5% for some odd reason. If, for example, that iPhone example did work, you would be better off offering 1 more iPhone for like half off if you have the margin for it. You'll probably get like a 10 to 20% take rate if it's a good product and it makes sense for multiples. So other things you can do too, you can also set up in Klaviyo or whatever email software you use. The day after, for anyone that makes a purchase, send them a discount code that gives them 24 hours, gives them a massive like 40% off to go buy more of the same or just store wide. And you also want to schedule this to go out simultaneously with your SMS app, whatever you're using it for SMS, whether it's Postscripts or SMS Bump or whatever it may be, right? These will work, okay? So here's some examples. Let's actually go into my store. I'm going to show you how this works. Okay, so now we're back in my store and I've blurred out a lot of stuff. Obviously, I don't want you just swiping my product. This is an active store. I'm still selling everything you see here. Now, the first thing I want you to be aware of, right, is that I have, this is a newer store. It's basically selling one product at a time, and we've done about 100K just in the last, 2 months. And if you look at my average order value, it's $64, right? And what I want you to know is that this product that we're selling has been tested. We've been bouncing back and forth between $35 per unit and $39.95, right? So basically 35 or 40 bucks, $5 with shipping. So our average order value should be $40 to $45, but we bumped it a significant amount, right? So we basically turned a $40 item into a $65 sale if you average all of our orders out. So if you look at it, so this is one app I was talking about, discounted pricing. So that's the name of it. It's not quantity breaks. Okay, if I go into all the orders, you're gonna see how much of an impact this has on the average order value, right? So if you look, all these are like, $127, $111, $104, okay? So even 76 bucks, like that brings the average up of what people spend. The last thing I wanna show you is gonna be one-click upsell, okay? So this is the funnel. I recently switched over to using this about a month ago, so not a ton of volume's gone through here, but you can see that we've had 766 orders go through this system, right? And of that, 16% have taken an extra unit, at least one extra unit at a discount. So that's how we've gotten the result that I showed you, where we're having, $65 on average for a $45 item sale. So that's it, guys and gals and people. Go ahead and take action on this. Set this up. Take this as you go into your product research and apply these methods and strategies. Clearly it works. I'm showing you it works. This is the way you remain profitable, especially going into 2021 where things are only gonna be more competitive. Have a great day, and make sure to subscribe if you haven't. Check out the links in the description. You'll be able to get access to our free private community on Facebook where you'll get direct support from me. And as always, make sure to like the video and share it if you got something from it today. See you in the next one.